Today we'll be meeting with Clayton. Currently he spends $6,000 more than he brings in each month. Remember, these videos are 100% real and so are their finances. Give this video a like so that YouTube recommends it to more people. This is Financial Audit.
Hi, my name is Clayton. I'm 29. I was born and raised in Austin, Texas. Currently live in Georgetown, Texas.
So what do you do for a living?
So I'm in sales, specifically residential solar.
Oh, cool. How much do you make? Well, it's because there's a lot of commission there, right? So
decent, yeah. It obviously varies. This year, looking at around 100 to maybe 110.
Is that how it typically is years on average?
So I've actually only been in this job about a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So before that, it ranged from, I was selling mattresses and it was like 50, 60K my first few years, about 90 to 93, 87 the other last 2 years, I think.
Okay. When it comes to personal finances, how educated would you describe yourself as?
Fairly educated. I've, about 3-4 years ago, I discovered a lot of the financial YouTube channels and started watching it, and that's why you were recommended to me probably
nice.
so quickly. So decently well.
Nice. Do you have like a strict budget that you set out every month?
No, I know I should, but yeah.
Okay, cool. So I do have, this is 60 days of your checking account. How much do you think was taken out within that 60 days?
60 days?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's probably 10, 11,000.
$16,913.
Oh wow.
Does that make you a little worried that the amount that you thought you're spending, it's actually a lot more the reality?
A little bit. I do know that there's some reasons for some of that, and some things that aren't normal on those 60 days. So
okay, and some of it can always like go to investing and stuff like that too. This was just taken out.
Yeah.
How much do you think was put in?
60 days. 12, 13,000 around there.
I have $10,907.
Okay.
Yeah. This is slightly under 60 days. This is like 55, so it may have just missed a paycheck. That's always possible. Yeah. But what makes me nervous is that is $6,000 more than bringing in.
Yeah.
Is there any reasoning behind that?
Some of it, yes. There is, I think, 4,000 or 5,000 in investing there that went to Roth IRA.
Okay, cool.
I did have a cat that got sick. That was about $1,500. So that's a little bit of that too.
I'm really sorry. Is the cat okay?
Unfortunately not.
Really?
No, she
I'm sorry.
But I didn't want to drag the show down. But
no, that's actually really interesting. Well, that's not okay. That's not interesting. It's incredibly sad because we're recording a few back-to-back today, and literally someone right before you, $10,000 in medical expenses for their dog.
Oh my God, that's horrible. That's
So I don't know what is with the bad news today in animals getting sick, but I am really sorry. That sucks.
I appreciate that.
As an animal lover myself, you can hear my dog in the background going crazy. So
right, yeah, had two. So so that was about $1,500. Would have probably been more, but she passed before we spent more. So is what it is. But yeah, so there were some extra expenses there. And it was also probably a bad 2 months on my part too, just on eating out and things like that.
Sure, yeah, that definitely makes sense. But even still, when it comes to taking out $6,000 more, even if it is going to investing, what I can't see on here is what the balance was at the beginning and what it is at the end. Like, how much is in your checking account? Because that's what makes me nervous.
Right now, about 8,000.
Okay, that's awesome. So what do you try to keep in there on like a baseline?
I keep probably more than I should. I keep usually around 10, and I probably should move some of that to savings.
I keep 10 in there, and you never know when something crazy is going to happen, and then I keep 6 months on the side for an emergency fund.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. It still feels a little weird. Where do you think the majority of that's going? Because I did go through this. I actually did not see crazy eating out.
Yeah, so one thing that, like, if you look through the credit cards, I pretty much spend everything on the credit cards, right? So it's mostly on there. That's why it's a little hard to track.
I did see that, and we are going to go through that. But mortgage, homeowner, okay. So $1,836 mortgage. That's not bad for this area.
I got lucky. Bought it at the very end of 2019.
Really?
Yeah.
Has it doubled in value?
Yes.
What is the house worth today?
So I bought it for $226. It's now worth $430.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Man, you're probably really happy about that.
I got pretty lucky there. And also, you'll notice in July, I did accidentally pay that mortgage twice. So that's another reason.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That actually did not catch my eye when that was coming in.
Yeah.
That's funny. Are you on a dual income, or is it just you?
Just me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, that's still awesome having, oh, man. Yeah, that's what happened with the first house I bought here in Austin. I bought it right before the explosion of the housing market. Good explosion.
I just saw the video.
Yeah. that was crazy. Yeah. Honestly, just luck, really, right? Just timing luck. But again, going through here, I didn't see like crazy thing. Honestly, that double mortgage probably makes up for that a bit too, because usually I go through here and then I'm like circling like, oh my goodness, eating out here, like 6 times a week. But this isn't a thing. Like, what am I supposed to yell at you for?
You'll get to that in the credit cards, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's fair. So we can move to the Amplify. And we'll do the Amplify first because $0.
Yeah.
So an easy one to get out of the way. $7,000 credit limit. Looks like you had $752 of purchases on there, but pay it off every month. Clearly, yeah. So that's pretty good. This was where the vet was.
Yeah, that was part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any other pets right now?
So I had 2 cats. So I still had the one, and I actually have since gotten the second one.
Okay. You know what I recommend? Because it saved me thousands of dollars last year. Pet insurance.
I hadn't heard of it until that happened, and then someone was like, "Do you not have pet insurance?" I was like, "I didn't know it existed."
Yeah.
So I might look into that.
A lot of people say don't get pet insurance. Actually, even Dave Ramsey specifically says don't get pet insurance. I don't know if he doesn't have pets or his pets just don't get sick, but I've had dogs my whole life and they're always getting sick. They're always like finding something random. Even when they're like closely leashed at the park, they'll like swallow a ball.
Yeah, just put something dumb in their mouth.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's worth it because personally, I can only speak from personal experience. It saved me literally thousands of dollars. But we can go to your second credit card because this is where there are things that are like, oh, what are you doing? First of all, what are the benefits of a Costco card? Because I do not have that. I'm curious.
So biggest one is 4% back on gas.
Okay.
So that's awesome. So I buy all
Any
my
gas
on it. Most, if not all. I'm not sure. It doesn't have to be specifically Costco. I know that.
Okay.
Yeah. So like pretty much anywhere. There might be like if you go to some tiny gas station, like maybe not, but most gas stations 4% back.
Gotcha. What about food? What do you get on food?
I think 3%.
3%. That's actually pretty killer. How much do you think you ate out when it came to, past 30 days? This 30-day statement for eating out at restaurants.
30 days, I'd be guessing, but I would say maybe $700-800.
Wow, maybe you just weren't that hungry that month, but $447.
I'm really surprised it's that low.
Yeah, but that's specifically from the Costco card, though.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, we are lots of DoorDash. DoorDash was something I was seeing coming through a lot.
Mm-hmm. Most of those are pickups, so I think at least.
Okay.
So if they're like $12 or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's like it's right down the street. I just put it into DoorDash and go pick it up. It's still eating out a lot. But at least I'm not paying another $20 for the delivery. Yeah,
a good amount of DoorDash, good amount of Chipotle. But I did see something on here that made me very happy. That's a Lupe tortilla.
I go there every Friday.
Every Friday, really?
Yeah.
Dang. I love Lupe tortilla.
It's
I really do.
Yep, the blackmail margarita is amazing.
Really, with $100,000 income, $447 eating out. That's not crazy.
Not too bad, I guess. It's better than I expected.
You do have a balance. What I'm curious about, it's showing a balance. This could have just been when you downloaded the statement. Is this paid off every month?
Yes.
Okay, see, and that was my immediate worry when I saw it. But, talking to you, I can tell in general you're financially disciplined. So it makes sense that this is paid off every month. About $2,000 in purchases and then $1,500 payment. It is a lot of money every month.
Yeah. I don't know where it all goes.
Do you track your spending in like Mint or something? Yeah, you said you don't budget at all. Is that something you'd be willing to do?
Yes, because I should.
Yeah.
I tried to set up Mint one time and I don't know why, but I gave up.
Really?
Yeah.
It's so easy. It takes like 10 minutes. It's still not that crazy. $8,333 before taxes every month. You have your up and down months because it's commission based, right?
Yeah.
But even still, $2,000 here. A lot of that's gas. A lot of that's eating out. It's not insane.
Mm-hmm.
Capital One, $0 balance, because you're a good financial person and I don't get to yell at you because you pay off your balance. It looks like about $500 spent on this one.
Yeah, and I don't use that one that often. It was just my first credit card, so I just never close it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. You just use it to kind of keep it alive, essentially.
Yeah.
There's really nothing to talk about here. So what I'm actually most curious about, we'll get the final one out of the way. Amazon purchase. Do you shop on Amazon a lot?
Decent amount. I don't really shop there. I guess I do all my shopping there, right?
Yeah.
So I get all my cat food and cat toys and treats delivered.
Oh, that makes sense.
I just recently needed a vacuum. I bought that on Amazon. I just don't like driving to the store.
Yeah, no, I feel that. $834 spent.
Yeah, I think $360 was the vacuum.
Gotcha.
So that was a big part of it. And then there's a couple charges on there that are not on Amazon, actually.
Yeah. Why use an Amazon card?
Because you get 5% cash back on Amazon.
No, why use an Amazon card on something that's not Amazon?
Oh, that, I don't remember why I did that. Sometimes I just pull out the different card for whatever reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Amazon card, that's the only store card I have.
Oh, really?
Personally, yeah. But that Costco 4% cash on gas,
it's pretty nice.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
So what is a little worrying is like 6,000 or after taxes. What are you probably at? You're probably at like $6,500, $7,000, probably like $7,000 every month.
Probably a little under 7, probably 6.5, something like that.
Yeah. Because I know it depends how you have your. When I was making commission, my commission got taxed pretty heavily. Mm-hmm. And I tried to sort it out by, with the deductions and everything. Mm-hmm. But even still, but of course, got a good refund.
Yep.
But even still, with like $6,500 after taxes every month, $1,000 on a card, $2,000 on a card. Amplify was almost $1,000 on a card. We're getting like $3,500, and then you have your checking account money that's coming out. We have your mortgage, so now we're talking close to like $5,000. Does that start to make you feel nervous? Do you feel comfortable with the amount of money that's being allotted to these cards and mortgages?
It was definitely too much for those 2 months, for sure. That does worry me a little bit, because I know that happens more often than it should.
Yeah.
For sure. Does it worry me a lot? No, but it tells me that I need to keep a little bit better track of it and budget better.
Okay. That makes sense. And if we look at your savings account, now this is, I'm not 100% sure what this is. What I was assuming was an emergency fund. Is that correct?
Sort of, yeah. Just backup money, basically.
Okay, backup money of $8,207. Is this all the savings you have?
Yes.
That's where I don't like it. And that's what I was getting nervous of as we were going through the whole process. I was like, okay, it's financial discipline here, here. But I only got one sheet that said $8,000. Why is this all you have for savings, especially when making $100,000 as someone who cares about personal finance?
So part of it, I guess, is I kind of count that $10,000 in my checking as sort of, it's part of the emergency fund as well.
Fair enough.
Even though I could move it to checking, to savings. And so it comes out to 3-4 months of emergency fund. I would like to get that up to 6. Right now I'm focused on, I'm actually keep going back and forth between, do I want to pay off my car, or do I want to, because I want to pay off the car, but at the same time, right now seems like such a fantastic time to keep investing. Because of how low the market is.
Sure.
And I've been focusing on those two things rather than, I guess, building that emergency fund even more.
If you were like $4,000 a month is what has to be spent for you to exist,
that would be bad.
Well, that's what that's what I calculate myself as. Like, if I lose everything, I need $4,000 a month in order to sustain, a general sense of comfort, different payments and things like that.
Yeah, I guess that's about right.
Yeah, and that's what I assume looking through this. So that'd be like $24,000 if you wanted 6 months. And you're pretty close to that.
Not too far off, yeah.
Yeah. Really, all you have to do is save an extra $6,000. You could probably do that in like 2 months without having to cut back too crazy.
Yeah.
That would be a really cool thing to do, because then you just have that foundation set aside that you don't even have to think about anymore. All of a sudden, when it comes to the investing that you want to do, or you're like, all right, this is a good month to pay off the car, then you can just do it and you don't even have to think about, well, maybe some of it should go to the emergency fund because that, it just already exists. Mm-hmm. This car, how much is owed on it?
$9,500.
What is it?
It's a 2016 Hyundai Veloster.
Is it worth that much?
I bought it for 11 last year, so I paid down a little bit. I had a 2016 Mustang that was paid off. Bought it for $20,000.
Okay.
I was younger, but it was used
and paid off.
Fortunately, it wasn't an accident. It was fine, but the car was totaled.
And insurance didn't.
They paid me $17,000 for it, but at the time I was in between jobs.
Oh, so you had to use some of the 17 to survive.
Yeah, so last year I only made $50,000 because I was at one job, then moved to another job, and was basically unemployed for like a month and a half. Okay. And then was in training at this new job. So basically I just financed the car so that I would have the cash just in case.
How much did you put down? Do you remember?
Only $1,000.
Okay.
Yeah. But
you didn't finance your down payment, right?
No, I did not. I actually paid it in cash.
Okay, good. Because that keeps happening for some reason.
No, I didn't finance that. So yeah, just held on to that cash, and by the time I kind of got through finding a job, working, everything, most of that cash had kind of disappeared.
Do you know the interest rate on that?
4.8.
4.8. Okay, that's really interesting. I like paying off cars early because they're traditionally something that goes down in value. Mm-hmm. So, it just makes more sense from the investing standpoint. I am of the opinion of like public student loans, anywhere from that 4 to 5%, 5% max. Mm-hmm. I don't like to pay off early because I'd rather invest it because it just makes more mathematical sense to do that instead of, basing our investment decisions off of basic human emotions.
Yeah.
I prefer, math and reality.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
You've put me in an interesting spot on my thought on this pretty low interest rate car, because you mentioned you would rather invest because essentially we're buying when the market is certainly lower than it's going to be at some point. We don't know when.
Yeah, it could be 5-10 years. Who knows?
Yeah.
But, that's the point. Be in the market so you don't miss it, right?
Exactly.
And so that's what has me. It's that FOMO, I guess.
The car.
I know. I don't like it either.
Oh, the car debt makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. That's what, I paid off the Mustang in a year and a half because I felt the same way. And at the time, but now it just seems like the perfect time. Because I feel like if you can get 10% in most markets, I don't see why you can't get 15-20% return right now.
Sure. Natural instinct is like, dude, just pay this off.
You're probably right.
And yeah, I would probably both be right to follow that natural instinct. I don't like one size fits all financial advice, so that's why I'm really trying to think about the benefits, positives and negatives when it comes to this car specifically at a lower interest rate. Mm-hmm. People in the comments are going to be screaming, pay it off, you dummy, and some are like, well, maybe invest, but I don't know.
And
I would probably pay it off.
$217 a month, so it's just like, it's kind of not too big of a deal, but
yeah. And you were unemployed at one point. During that unemployment period, when it would have felt better though, if you didn't have those monthly payments, right?
I don't remember if I did. It was right around the time that I got the car.
But if it happened in the future, all of a sudden you're like, oh, but there's still monthly payments I have to take care of. That's where it adds that extra level of security not to have the car.
Yeah, no, that's what I've been struggling with, and I'd still have to keep thinking about it. But I get what you're saying completely. I would feel a lot more comfortable with it paid off.
Definitely some cognitive dissonance around this one. Mm-hmm. What about just putting like double towards it? Because that's not going to take too much out of your thing, and then it's still paid off earlier. You feel like at least progress is being made on it. You're doing more than you need to, but you still have extra money to invest where you want to.
That could work. Or even, like $500 a month or something.
Could be an interesting compromise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might try that, something like that, just so it's lower.
Yeah. How much did you say is left on it again?
About $9,000. Something like that.
Yeah. How long is the term?
6 years, I think.
I don't like that.
I just wanted the lowest monthly payment at the time since I wasn't working.
Well, with that information, I would definitely pay it off earlier. I don't like that at 6 years.
Yeah.
I really don't like anything over like 4 years max for cars.
Yeah.
If a loan has to be taken. The fact that it's 6 years, I definitely would pay that off early.
Yeah.
Now my decision's been officially made on what I think about that.
All right. Well, I've done some investing this year, so I guess now I can switch that over to the car.
Yeah, throw a commission check towards it, and the next commission check, throw it towards investing. You know, they always come in those beautiful lump sums that are awesome.
Yeah, feels good.
I miss commission checks.
Except when they're bad.
So, yeah, what are your financial goals looking forward? Do you have any retirement? Well, you talked about your investing. Tell me about your investing accounts.
So, I'm a noob at it. I don't know entirely what I'm doing. I have a decent amount in S&P 500 mutual fund and total stock market index fund. I've also played with some riskier investments that obviously right now are not doing great.
Yeah, like what?
Well, just stocks for like smaller companies that I was hoping would see some growth. Haven't officially lost anything because I haven't sold anything, but obviously those accounts are down.
What percentage of the portfolio were those riskier ones?
Maybe more than they should have been. Maybe 30%.
Ooh, that is pretty high for an overall portfolio on just like individual stocks.
Most of those I did earlier on, and then I've now switched more towards like the safer stuff.
Okay.
So, and hopefully some of them will recover.
What's the value of your portfolio right now?
So the main thing I do is I have a Roth IRA that is valued at about $33,000 right now.
Okay.
It's down, I think 8,000 this year.
Yeah.
So hopefully eventually we'll get back up to that like 40,000. And then I have 2 401ks that are like 28K and 7K.
Oh, okay. So that's pretty sweet. Your total net worth, what are you at? 350,000?
Probably a little over 250. So one thing I wasn't able to send you, we haven't talked about, I do have some student loans.
Yeah. So. God, see, I'm just sitting on this side of the table and I'm like, this guy kind of knows what he's doing. So that didn't even pop into my head. All right, tell me about those student loans.
It's 21 grand. I was just early on just making the regular minimum payments, and then once they froze them, I just stopped paying them because I figured if they're not accruing interest, I can.
So they're all federal.
Do other things. Yeah.
What's the average interest rate across it?
So 2 of them are not bad. They're in the 4s. I don't know exactly what. 2 of them are pretty high. They're like 6.
I would pay those off as quick as you can once they start up, because it makes no sense to pay them now.
Exactly.
Because we don't know what's going to happen. Biden could forgive $10K in the fall. That is the word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm waiting to see if that happens. If it does, great. If not,
yeah, we can't bank on it. But
yeah.
So when those start again, obviously it makes sense. The minimum on the lower interest ones, but will you start paying down those higher interest ones?
Yes.
Quicker?
Yeah.
Yeah, you really should.
Yeah, those I want to knock out really quickly.
What was your degree?
Business management.
Okay, when did you graduate?
2016.
Okay. That's a good amount of debt to have, this many years later.
Yeah, well, I was paying on it for what? So I started at $30K. So I paid off like a third of it, and then they got frozen, so.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Do you remember your minimum monthly payment?
Like $350.
Yeah, you start adding that to the mortgage, to how much you spend on credit cards. You start having not much room to play with.
Not a ton. I mean, I'd have to dial it back a lot. I should already dial it back on what I spend every month.
Well, that's where the budget comes from, right?
Yeah, that's what I need to do next.
Set aside how much you're willing to spend out to eat on that Costco card, and you just don't go over that.
Yeah.
Re-download Mint. Set it up. Super easy. You barely have any financial accounts.
Yeah, I guess not. It felt like a lot, like all the credit cards and stuff. But.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's pretty sweet. I mean, in general, I think you have a pretty good foundation. Few things to clean up. Maybe cutting back on the eating out a little. Maybe Lupe every Friday. Why is it every Friday?
My coworkers go every Friday,
gotcha.
and I quit, but I just like seeing them. So
yeah.
And I don't get out and I don't go out a lot of other times, so it's just a way to get out.
Lupe is just so freaking expensive.
It's gone up like so much since we started going 2 years ago too.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
So cutting down some of the eating, getting your emergency fund up another $6,000, creating that budget so that you know what you're spending on certain things so you can cut back in certain areas. We have to wait on those student loans. I would pay off that car since it's a long-term loan. I don't like that, especially on an older car. I do not like longer-term loans. And then if those student loans, they get reactivated,
then yeah, those two
attacking
higher
them.
ones need to get knocked out.
Yeah, as fast as possible, as much as you can throw at them each month.
Yeah. At first, I was saving up for the house, and that's why I was just doing the minimum payment.
Okay.
But now, yeah, they need to get knocked out.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. So what are your financial goals looking forward?
It's hard to say. I mean, I want to get debt-free, as quickly as possible. That would be amazing, just to kind of have that lifted.
Like in general, like mortgage and everything?
Not mortgage, probably, because I don't think that makes much sense to pay off early. But bad debt-free, I guess I should say.
For sure.
So I'd love to get debt-free. That's kind of the first main goal, and continue to hopefully invest and start to see some growth. Want to be financially comfortable, especially in my older years, and hope maybe even retire early.
What is financially comfortable to you?
I guess, I'm really comfortable right now.
Yeah.
Now, if you add 2 kids to that and, wife and stuff, then that gets a little tighter, right?
Sure.
But I'd love to be able to retire and, not have to stress out about money and be able to mostly enjoy yourself and just have fun. That's kind of how I see it. Nothing crazy. I don't, need crazy cars or anything like that. I just like to be comfortable and not stress about money all the time.
When do you think you'll be a millionaire?
I'm hoping by 40.
I think that's a good goal.
Yeah.
I was going to say you could be aggressive and do 35.
I think if I really cleaned it up,
it would be super aggressive.
It'd be very aggressive. Even then, if I'm still single at 35, maybe, but I'm hoping I'm not. So,
for sure.
So I'm going to push that to 40. But I think if I could be a millionaire by 40, that'd be fantastic.
I think you could, especially just with a little bit of cleanup. There's not too much to do. Student loans in the long car still worries me a little, but I think you know that. You recognize that, and you're willing to make changes.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. Any final thoughts?
I don't think so. It was just great to be here. I appreciate you having me on.
Let Clayton know what you think about his financial situation in the comments below. A special shout out to my 4 Cups of Coffee supporters of Deal Martinez, Mark, Josh Bennett, and Anthony. And an extra special shout out to my first mentorship member, Chris Lerma. Give this video a like so that YouTube recommends it to more people. Subscribe and stick around for more. Thanks.